Welcome back to Frontline Insights. I'm Bill Brandt, and we're here live at IT Nation 2011, and I'm here with Meaghan Kelly from HP. She is the VP of Channel Strategy. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Bill. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's always great to see you here at these events. You always bring a wealth of perspective and insight, so I appreciate you taking time to come on our show here.
We're always happy to be with you guys.
Yeah. Well, lots going on here at IT Nation, but what brings HP out? You guys are here in full force this time around. What's exciting for you about what's going on here?
So let's talk a few market statistics. It'll kind of put it in a broad perspective of why we're here and what's important to us. So as you know, we're very focused on the SMB segment, and it's a market that just in the United States alone is massive. You add Canada onto that, it's even bigger, right? In the US, we have about 25,000 partners at HP. And about 99% of all SMB customers are small medium business in the United States. And 70% of those customers actually buy their product through the channel. Up in Canada, if you go up into Canada, you have another $5 billion opportunity under there, and they're almost 100% through the channel up in Canada. So it's a massive opportunity for us, and it's important that we're always out there talking to VARs and to MSPs and understanding what their needs are and how HP can further help drive profitability and business together with them.
Yeah, I love when you put market statistics and data information together. It's always, it sets and frames the conversation for probably the next thing is, with that market sizing in perspective, what kind of trends, what do you see going on in the industry, and how do the partners, fit into that?
Sure. So I talked about the 25,000 HP partners in the market. In the market, as you look in the US and Canada, there's about 10,000 resellers that we consider MSP resellers, right? They're the guys out there doing monthly reoccurring revenue streams and offering these great services for their customers. Mm-hmm. And so we're at the show this week and developing a deep partnership with ConnectWise overall because we really want to go out and understand who those 10,000 VARs are and make sure they see all the great solutions and offerings that HP has to offer. That's one piece of it. The other piece of it is that there's also this massive amount of VAR that is still more of a traditional hardware VAR offering services. And the trend we see is they're starting to move away from that traditional hardware sale and offer more and more services and monthly recurring revenue streams. And HP is in a perfect position to help figure them out, how to get there and how to move their business models.
Yeah.
More profitability, stickier customer base, more revenues. It's all good, right?
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we're doing, and quite frankly, while you're here on the show, we're really trying to help move the market to that trusted business advisor and beyond, aspect of their business and raise their level of business acumen. And so with that in mind, there's been lots going on with HP. You guys have always been tried and true with the channel for years, but where is the channel fitting into your go-to-market strategy these days?
So as I mentioned earlier, from an SMB perspective, about 70% of SMBs buy their product through the channel. Yeah. For HP, that percentage is probably a lot higher because we have put our strategic bet on the channel, and we are maniacal about the channel and making sure that we feed leads, that we give a lot of training and certification, that we're giving them all the things they need in MDF funds and spiffs to go out there and really make it happen for both companies. So there's never been a more important time for HP in the channel, and all of our big bets right now are going into the channel for SMB.
Yeah, and that's a good segue to, what are some of those big bets? Where, obviously you talked about the solution providers and moving over to become more managed service providers, but what are some of the big opportunities? Is it by vertical market, by industry, by market area, by solution set, and working with HP? Where are you guiding the partners these days?
So it's interesting, if you look back just 2 years ago and you looked at the profile of a VAR, an SMB VAR, none of them were really verticalized. They were really kind of do-it-all shops and more generalist models. What we found through this recession, and as things get tighter and more streamlined and people need to focus more, we've seen a lot of these VARs move towards the healthcare segment, the public sector segment, education. And so as we go out and really position great solutions and products for our VARs, we're also very focused on the vertical piece of it and making sure that from soup to nuts, they've got everything they need from HP, as well as the wraparound of all the specialized software and services that those SMBs need to serve certain verticals.
Yeah, and so you mentioned profiles of partners, and you guys have a lot of partners. Some are getting more traction than others. Mm-hmm. What does the profile or what are some key characteristics of partners who work best with HP? What should our viewers aspire to look like in terms of best practices and working with you guys?
So, obviously we've got a lot of great bars in North America, and we will continue to nurture and grow them. One of the great advantages of HP is that we carry an entire product portfolio, all the way from the desktops and the laptops, tablets, servers, storage, networking, all the way up the spectrum. And then we've got great software and services packages that wrap around it too. So what we're looking for truly is the type of VAR that's going to go all in with HP, carry the entire product line, extend our brand into the market, and really have a very healthy mix between a hardware and a services business.
Any sense of and maybe we can break it into these three areas, from a sales perspective, how they interact and work better with HP, maybe from a marketing perspective and or even an operational perspective, those kind of three major functional areas.
Sure. Now, from a sales perspective, one of the great reasons to use the channel, obviously, is you get the feet on the street and the additional sales reach. And so the VARs that really focus on HP and understand our Channel 1 program and understand our product set and how the engine works, the better education that they can get, the more specializations that they can hold from HP, the deeper they get with HP in knowledge across the product line, those are the guys that we're seeing grow fastest in margin and revenue.
Yeah. And how about from, let's call it operations, but maybe from a technical perspective, are they training more and more people? Are they becoming experts in some of the technology you guys are bringing forward? How about on that side?
So what we find on that side, again, this goes back to that cloud trend that's happening, where as more and more VARs are realizing that hardware isn't going to hold their business alive alone, right, because the margins aren't big enough, as they transition into more of a services model, we're seeing that those VARs are needed to bring on more personnel around a services expertise. And so HP is doing a lot of work with the VARs and with training and certifications to make sure that as those services folks come on, that we can help train them and inundate them and get them ready for all of the new business models that they're going to be transitioning into. So we want to be that trusted advisor to the VAR so they can go out and extend our reach on the street.
Yeah, and you guys have a lot of partners already, but in the paradigm of recruiting partners or enabling partners, what are some of and we're closing out 2011, thinking about 2012 planning, what is the direction you guys are going from that perspective? And is it more on emphasis that we need to add new partners that have new capabilities that can get us into new markets, or is it more about enabling existing partners and helping them really be all they can be, so to speak?
Yeah. I mean, from an HP perspective, we've got the largest technology channel in the world. And so from our strategic perspective, we need to serve all of those purposes.
Right.
So what we're doing through our award-winning Channel 1 program, we're streamlining and making it simpler and more predictable and easier to understand. We've streamlined all of these specialization and elite programs that VARs have known and loved for so many years. And we'll continue to bolster our portfolio within Channel 1 to give VARs what they need to be successful and to grow. So those would be existing VARs. As far as new VARs, again, with this managed services model and things moving more towards the services bent, we are looking for new MSPs to join the HP family that has traditionally, sold the managed services around it, and now if we can get the HP hardware as the infrastructure in there, it's good business for both of us.
Absolutely, it's a win-win. And your span of not just influence, but focus, I guess, within HP is pretty broad. You do a lot of things, and we've touched on certain aspects of it, but you're also responsible with helping some of these early stage or startup type
Sure.
incubators within HP and helping nurture those along. Maybe you can talk to that side of it as well.
Absolutely. So, HP is headquartered in the Silicon Valley. It's one of the original startups with Bill and Dave in the garage.
Yeah.
And in our backyard, we have access to some of the most phenomenal entrepreneurs and VCs and people really doing leading edge technologies. Really, that's the future. They're right in our backyard, and so it's been a really exciting time for HP to go out and meet a lot of these entrepreneurs and VCs and different types of companies and see what kind of technologies they're pushing for the future.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, a lot of them are betting their business and building their business on HP infrastructure. So those are the ones we're really looking at. We're looking for those startups that are getting into enterprise IT, focus on cloud. Mobility is still really important for HP, with all of our desktops and laptops and tablets, and so I'm on the hunt for really great companies that are building really awesome solutions on the HP infrastructure.
And maybe there's a couple partners you can talk about or give us any insights.
Sure.
A couple sneak peeks maybe,
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. So one of the companies we're working with that we're very excited about, and we're actually co-sponsoring here at the show, is Axient.
Okay, of course.
So I know you guys are very familiar with Axient.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's been a very strategic partnership that we've developed between both companies, really targeting the SMB cloud space. And it's been phenomenal. We're noticing that we're opening up new partners for them, and the synergy of them really introducing us to new partners in the managed service space, and pushing more hardware and selling their software and monthly recurring revenue streams, and helping VARs get into new business models.
That's neat. Well, being in that space, and like you said, you're seeing a lot of startups with new and innovative ideas. You touched on a couple. I heard you mention mobility and maybe even cloud. Any other new technologies that are interesting or exciting we should be thinking about?
So I think, everybody's just focused on the cloud right now, and so that's really the types of startups that I'm looking at. HP also has a very tight relationship with Box.net, which is like a SharePoint type of solution. And so that, again, that's more of a cloud solution as well. But we'll continue to go out and look for those types of solutions.
What do you think? What do you think about the cloud? There's a lot of discussion about it's early in the game, but it's going to be a big thing. There's some talk even here at this show. Partners having concern about moving towards the cloud.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts? You're a strategist. Where should the partners play in that?
So I think there's a lot of parallels that can be drawn in adoption cycles as we move through the times here. And what the cloud came out really back in 2000, right? It was utility-based computing, and everybody was going to go there. Here we're sitting in 2011, and it still hasn't completely taken off, right? There's out of all those partners I mentioned, really only 10,000 really specifically defined as MSPs. I think there's going to be a transition of traditional VARs moving into MSPs. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. They have a lot of fears and difficulties they're going to need to overcome to make that transition. So I think it's going to take time. Having said that, it's also a high margin business, and so the VARs that can either acquire MSP capabilities or build it into their business are going to be the ones that are going to be the most successful. But I don't think the traditional VAR is ever going away.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about that. Any sense of how that might look? You hear everything from folks on the Gartner side that a third of the companies might make the transition, a third might find some middle ground, and another third might, fade away. Any thoughts on how that might shape out, or how quickly partners need to make the transformation?
So I would say I'd put them in three different camps. I would put them as there's always going to be traditional hardware VARs that all they do is push the hardware. And there's a massive market for that, especially in the lower end of SMB, where people just want the boxes shipped to their office and have somebody come in and set them up and get them ready. Very, an unsophisticated, very simple office solution that there'll always be a set of VARs that serve that market. We call them the trunkers. They drive around with all the equipment in the trunk of their car. They come in, they install it. They may take your Amex card to buy the equipment, and then they charge you, $90 an hour to, get it set up here. I think those guys are never going to go away. There's a lot of them out there.
Yes.
In the U.S. alone, there's probably, we estimate, about 175,000 of those types of partners in the U.S. Then I think there's this VAR that's more of a VAR that offers a lot of services, maybe a yearly service contract, a 2 or 3 year term. And now they're making that switch into not only offering the yearly contracts, but now they're testing out that monthly recurring revenue stream, and could they get into monthly contracts? And then you've got the far spectrum on the right of those MSPs that they don't do hardware at all. They're strictly a managed services provider, and they live off these great margins in the services business. So I think those three types of VARs classically are going to remain the same. It's just the percentages might change between them.
Well, we're definitely in interesting times across the board. I mean, there's really, from a technology perspective, there is no more exciting time. In my experience, I've been doing this for 20 years, but I think this is the experience of a lot of other folks. And HP is at the forefront of a lot of it. And channel has traditionally been a big part of your strategy. So I look forward to more great things out of you guys. But if there was one parting shot you'd like to leave our audience with when thinking about HP, what would that be?
Well, I think it just goes back to our maniacal focus on the channel, and we absolutely love our channel partners, and we'll continue to build really great programs and executive level support and anything our partners need to be successful. So if you're out there in the channel and looking to do business, HP is a great home for you, for sure.
Excellent. Well, Meaghan, thanks again. It's
Thanks,
always
Bill.
a pleasure.
Pleasure to see you.
Appreciate it.